up in the city of Toronto, all over Toronto. Very poor kid. I'm a first-generation Canadian. I came out very white, but I am a mixed-race Canadian. My mother's from India, and my white British Canadian side of my family all lived in California. So all my entire upbringing was that of the firstborn of a new generation from a recent immigrant family in Toronto in the 70s, and we were very poor, and I lived in the house with my aunts and uncles and their kids and their dogs and my grandparents and everybody, and I felt like I was rich. The first song that I ever loved was You and I by Rick James, and we didn't really have a great, what we'd now call urban radio station in PC parlance, and we could get Buffalo radio stations in Toronto when the wind was right. And I had heard You and I by Rick James and loved it, and I knew all the words, and I'd sing it, and I'd be telling my family all can go to hell in the chorus, and my dad and mom would drive to Buffalo to buy records, and they bought that for me, and I still have it. I didn't know I'd be playing a Rickenbacker 4001 years later. I never wanted to be anybody but myself, but I would, when you're young, you certainly see things that other people have done as inspiration, or it's just like, oh, that life could be like that. That's crazy. You could just play music. That's possible. Like that was step one. Like, wow, I could just play music. Anyone who could do that was a hero at first, When I was a teenager and I learned that Jimmy Page also produced the Led Zeppelin records, I was really impressed by that, and I thought that he was awesome for that. I don't think it's a healthy thing for someone to look at any one person and see them as being too great, because you don't really know them. We don't know. Maybe John Bonham may have been the most racist person alive. We just don't know, because no one was really asking those types of questions, and I don't want to know. But I know that he was an awesome drummer, and I love the drums, and I'm content with that, and I can take influence from it. But that's why maybe I'm afraid to have heroes, because I don't want to be disappointed. My dad was in Steppenwolf when they started. He was always in bands. Growing up, he had a band with David Clayton Thomas. They were called the Shays, and I guess they were coming up around like the same time as the Sonics and stuff like that. They were the first Canadian band to ever play on American television. My mom had a publishing company. My aunt worked for A&M. We lived in a house with Alice Cooper's band. My uncle owned this club called the Horseshoe, which is like the CBGBs of Toronto. For whatever reason, everybody around was always into music. Like when I started wearing clothes that fit more, my dad's like, "Oh, you look like Todd." I'm like, "Todd who?" He's like, "Todd Rundgren." Because they're friends. And occasionally, a highlight of my early 20s was being at my parents' house, and I don't like to answer the phone. But the phone's ringing, and I'm like, I'm gonna answer it. Hello, Keeler residence. Yes, Freddie there? Yeah, he's here. Who should I say is speaking? Oh, tell him it's Steve. It's Steve Cropper. Like, hold on 1 second. Dad! What are you doing? Answer the phone! From all that, it had me not interested in music other than playing it. I had no intention of ever doing what I'm doing now at all. Never had like the slightest thought of it. I love playing music, but I never would have had music as something that would be my livelihood as well, because I loved making music. I loved playing music I started playing drums when I was 3, because they were there and everyone else was playing stuff, but I never wanted to do it as a job, and then suddenly it happened with this band, and I'm still here. The new record is called Outrage Is Now. It is 10 songs and probably 40 minutes long. It's like a record that could never have made it years ago. And there's like level of comfort that I guess we have now with our band and the format and with each other and everything else, and so that we are probably the most comfortable creatively than we've ever been. And in terms of changes with the music, I mean the thing that I noticed the most is over the years you make enough records and make enough records on your own, and you start learning things and picking things up, and when I listen to this record I really hear everything that I've learned previously shows up in there, and I don't know what it's like for someone that's not me to listen to it, and I guess I never could, saving Alzheimer's or severe head injury, but I know when I listen to it I hear the results of years of working on things. You know, I can see it, and it seems like the response to it so far has been amazing, and I have absolutely no complaints.